Now that we've gone over the basics, I want to invite you to look into a more detailed definition of motivational interviewing. The practitioner definition of motivational interviewing is a person centered counseling style of addressing the common problem of ambivalence about change. With this definition, the elements of MI or motivational interviewing begin to converge. It doesn't involve either telling people what to do or why to do it, but rather eliciting their reasons for change. Note that telling people what to do usually has unintended consequences of encouraging the person you want to help to not change. So, the practitioner definition also brings into play MI spirit. And what is MI spirit? MI spirit is a philosophy that falls within partnership, acceptance, compassion, and evocation. The domains are overlapping with MI spirit at the center of it all. So the footing for MI spirit is partnership, which can easily be missed as we feel pressured to help our friends' behavior change, trying to force it just a little too quickly. The practitioner definition also brings up ORS plus I, which I'll get into the next slide right here. So here we have ORS plus I, which stands for open-ended questions, affirmation, reflections, summaries, and information exchange. Within these skills, we find tools that help build strong and trusting relationships with students. These skills help us become partners with our friends as we help them come to their own conclusions to whatever is bothering them. So first of all, we have open-ended questions. And these are questions that can't be answered with a simple yes or no and encourages people to explore their thoughts and feelings in depth. Next, we have affirmations, which are positive statements that recognize a person's strengths, efforts, or achievements. Next, we have reflective listening, which is responding to the client or friend by paraphrasing or summarizing what they've said. Next, we have summaries, which are a way of collecting and linking what the client has shared, which is often used to show understanding and progress. And then finally, we have information exchange, which is sharing relevant information or knowledge in a collaborative and non judgmental way. So now we've made it to our final definition of motivational interviewing, the technical definition. It's defined as a collaborative, goal oriented style of communication with a particular attention to the language of change. Basically, it's a way of engaging in a conversation that helps people find their own motivation and commitment to change. So, this definition is particularly useful for those who want to understand the deeper mechanics of how motivational interviewing works. It's not just a conversation, it's a structured approach where every word and interaction is intentional. So within this definition, we see the expression of the MI spirit, meaning the underlying attitudes of partnership, acceptance, compassion, and evocation are all still there. There are also the tools we use like ORS plus I, as well as concepts like change talk, which I'll describe more in the next slide. So what's new here is an increased emphasis on being goal oriented. So this means that while the collaborative and non judgmental style remains the same, we are guiding the conversation more actively towards specific changes the person. This helps the individual articulate and strengthen their own motivation, leading to a higher likelihood of successful outcomes. So, this next slide focuses on what I was talking about previously change talk in motivational interviewing. It's a key component in facilitating positive change. Change talk is defined as any statement from the person you're trying to help that indicates desire, ability, reasons, or need for change. So, this type of language reflects a careful balance of fighting ambivalence and moving toward a new direction. So, we can break it down into three main areas. We can break it down to language, client belief, and reinforcement. And just know, like when I say client, this can mean friend, this can mean a peer at Cal Poly's campus, really anyone. Just client in a lot of the definitions are kind of specified in just kind of the language that psychologists use as clients. So just keep that in mind. So first we have language, and clients are more likely to take action when they've openly expressed a desire or intention to do so. That's why interventions in motivational interviewing are designed to evoke this kind of language because it strengthens internal motivation and commitment to change. Next, we have client belief. It's one of the most critical elements here is having a client or student themselves articulate the reasons for change. It's not about us convincing them, it's about them convincing themselves. So this reduces resistance and makes the decision to change more meaningful. And during this process, it's important to avoid the writing reflex, like we already talked about. It's that urge to correct, which can actually reinforce their resistance. Lastly, it's crucial to reinforce positive change talk whenever it arises. So, this can be done through affirmations and reflective listening, acknowledging their progress and effort. Keep in mind that success and change is rarely linear. Sometimes a step back is necessary for future progress, so be prepared to encourage and support clients through these fluctuations.